So guys, we have all made mistakes in Loomian Legacy before. Whether it's running away from a corrupted, dying on dodgy Dobo, or spending a few months of your life making videos on a game with only a couple thousand players. Because that's a mistake if I've ever seen one. What the hell? And guys, I'm afraid to admit, I've made a couple mistakes in Loomian Legacy myself. But guys, there is one mistake I have made in Loomian Legacy that has been haunting me for years. And I will never get over this one mistake that I made back in 2020. So I sort of want to talk about that today. So if you guys are excited, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Let's get right into it. So guys, for those who don't know, Geklo and El Iguana are both tied for my favorite Loomians. I use these all the time. I made so many videos showcasing these Loomians off. And I even got to the end of the Loomian Legacy story with only a Geklo before. And also, I use Geklo and El Iguana a lot when I hunt Loomian. This is like my primary Loomian I use. But guys, Loomian Legacy has once had an event in the game all about Geklo, and it is the Geklo event. This was released for Loomian Legacy's first anniversary, and you got many different colored Geklos in this event. A lot of people say that this is one of Loomian Legacy's best events in the game, and many people would like to re-experience this. So now, you know me, being the Geklo enthusiast myself, I must have grinded the Geklo event so hard to get all these rare Geklo forms, right? No. I actually didn't. Look, I was not making Loomian Legacy videos at this time. I have been playing Loomian Legacy since it first released, so I did know about this Geklo event, but around the summer of 2020, I was getting sort of tired of playing the game for a while, so I took a couple months off of playing the game since I was just not having a lot of fun hunting in the game. I did play the Geklo event for a very small amount of time though. Like, as you guys can see right here, I have caught 3 bronze Geklos before. All of these are my OT, but these are the only Geklos I got in the Geklo event. Just 3 bronze Geklos, and then I left the Geklo event forever. I didn't even bother getting things like a silver Geklo or a gold Geklo or even like a ruby Geklo, like my favorite color, red. I couldn't get that in Geklo form. I had to trade for one myself. But you know, that kind of haunts me to this day, but there's something even more important than that about this Geklo event. It's not just me not catching the Loomians. There was a person that was standing in Route 6 in this Geklo event, and if you showed him a gold Geklo, he would give you an El Iguana saddle. And you know, this is where the sad part comes in. I never got the El Iguana saddle. El Iguana is my favorite Loomian of all time, and its saddle is one of the only saddles I do not own. What's even more sad is that my friend Alex offered me to borrow his gold Geklo just to get the El Iguana saddle, and I just didn't care enough to get that from him. If I owned the El Iguana saddle today, that would definitely be the main saddle I would use all the time, since why wouldn't I use the saddle of my favorite Loomian? Especially since now I have a super rare form of El Iguana, this Gleam Ruby El Iguana. Like, I'd want to show this off with my saddle instead of using a different one. But guys, here's the worst part about not using an El Iguana saddle when I'm hunting. If I decide to go into the grass with a saddle on, not the El Iguana saddle, I'll need to spend the time to throw out my El Iguana, and it will spend the time to do like this little gleaming sparkle effect, which like takes a second out of every single encounter. For reference, if I'm not using an Alpha Loomian or a Gamma Loomian, it would just go out and not take an extra second to sparkle, just like that. I used to use a normal Alpha El Iguana when I'm hunting. You can see that in a lot of my older videos, but I ended up switching him out for a Ruby Geklo so I wouldn't have to deal with that sparkles. But now I have a Gleam Ruby El Iguana, so like, obviously I would love to use this guy, but he just takes an extra second to sparkle each turn, so like, if I'm spending so much time hunting, that'll be so much time wasted. Now, if you're wondering why the El Iguana saddle would actually help me out there, if I use a saddle with an Alpha Loomian and I go in the grass, it will not take the extra time to sparkle. As you guys can see, I was using the Alpha Seer Knight saddle and it did not take the extra time. So if I own the El Iguana saddle, I could use my Alpha Ruby El Iguana and it would take no extra time. Now, there is a way to make sure my El Iguana does not take the time to sparkle every time. If I just go in the grass without using a mount, he will just go in without the sparkles. But of course, without the mount, I am running at a slower pace, which means it will take a little bit longer to get an encounter every time. Which that would be faster than using the mount every time, but it would still be slower than normal, and I'd have to hold the shift key when I'm hunting at all times, which, you know, is not fun. This is why I wanted the Geklo event to return so badly. That's why I made that original Geklo event Photoshop in their 3-year anniversary, because I just want the Geklo event to return so I can get the El Iguana saddle. Llama Train Studios, if you're watching this, please bring back the Geklo event, and please bring back the El Iguana saddle. They could literally make the El Iguana saddle not an event saddle, because, you know, El Iguana is not an event Loomian on its own. He's just a normal Loomian, so he could deserve a normal saddle. Maybe they could even make make an Iguana saddle B. I mean, I'll take that any day. But yeah, guys, let me know in the comments, what is your worst mistake you've ever made in Loomian Legacy? Now that you guys know my worst mistake of not getting that beautiful saddle. So I'm interested to see if any of you guys have made a mistake as fatal as mine. But yeah, guys, that's about it to this video, so I'm gonna end it off here. So until next time, goodbye!